long. So without further ado, I'm going to start the show and then we get going with Miss Johnson. Thank you. Hello, Beverly Johnson. How are you doing?
I'm well, Sylbourne. I'm well. Thank you for having me. I'm well. I'm
Fan-
well.
Fantastic. Well, I've been seeing the lots of videos of the lots of donation and relief, and I know that I might not see your face, but I know in the background you're working hard.
You know
You know,
me, I like to stay under the radar.
I know, no. And for me getting you out like this, it's a miracle, isn't it?
It is definitely a miracle at this time. I would love to have stayed in bed.
I know. I've definitely got to keep you. But I want to thank you so much, Beverly, for coming on. And Beverly Johnson is from JLB Shipping. You're based in where? Birmingham? Is it Birmingham you're based in originally? The base.
No, we're originally a Jamaican company,
Yeah.
started back in 1989 on my mother's front veranda. But I'm sitting now in Birmingham, yes, which is one of the
Yes.
branches of JLB around the world.
Yeah. The other night I was listening to the Jamaica High Commission has had two town hall virtual meetings with lots of Jamaicans talking about update as to how they can do relief and different logistics. And I wasn't able to listen to all of it because I was at a very important meeting, but I captured, and what I captured was you. What I saw was you speaking, talking about some logistics, and one of his one of his send go Jamaica, one of his send go Jamaica. So I want you to sort of explain a bit like what you're explaining and also the logistics about the taxes and some of the things that people are going to be expecting or some of the misconception or some of the things that they're getting all confused about, so if you can start off with Beverly. Yes, please.
Thank you so much to your listeners and to all of our fellow Jamaican and friends of Jamaica. I firstly want to say a big thank you for your support. The enormity of it is just so awesome. So far, we've done a number of containers to Food for the Poor through the JN Foundation because there are three tiers to which persons can give. The Office of
Yeah.
Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, that organization represents the government of Jamaica. And so donor agencies around the world, they will ship primarily building supplies, materials, and the items that are shown on the list, which is on the ODPEM website to be donated. And those items go into Jamaica and the government will do their clearance process themselves through the port system and the customs system. Then the second tier is charities that are registered in Jamaica. For instance, if you have a registered charity through your church, or you have the charity through the education system, or you have the charity through the health foundation, or you have the independent charities. Now, and then the third tier is persons sending items to their family members and friends and communities. What the first and second tier does not want is used clothing. And I say that because it is so difficult to manage what people are giving. And as you know, Jamaicans are a proud people. And as a result, I can say to you, as I'm sitting here in my warehouse in Birmingham, I have over 30 something bags of items that persons would have wanted to donate to the crisis in Jamaica, but they're not even they're not suitable. And so, for instance, we give everything to Food for the Poor. We have done so far 3 containers this week, 1 last week. So we've sent 4 containers to Food for the Poor for them to do the distribution across Jamaica. The name of the company is Food for the Poor,
With
not
poor, yeah.
worn clothing poor. So we would not send clothing to Food for the Poor
Food.
Jamaica. But if you are a Christian person and your church is putting together a consignment and they're sending it directly to their church in Jamaica, it is important for them to ask if used and new clothing are acceptable. But I think more importantly, what we need is building supplies, tarpaulins, foodstuff, solar lightings, equipment to move the debris, some wellies because the ground is so saturated and wet,
Yeah.
especially for children. Medical supplies, but not medical supplies where people are ripping off the names of their prescription boxes and sending stuff. That's the other area we're dumping a lot of. Just go into the pharmacy and buy some non-prescriptive drugs, such as your,
Yes.
your Tylenol, your paracetamols and stuff. But don't send persons your medication by ripping off the written prescription, because we
Oh,
can
wow.
identify that it has been removed. So we're just asking the worn clothing. And I know persons will come and tell me, I had an individual who came into my office and I said to her, "Ma'am, I can't take those towels. They're dirty and they're worn. There are some blemishes on them." And the person was rude. "Jamaica poor, them can't use them." I'm like, "Don't do that. I am a Jamaican. Don't
Yeah.
do that."
Mm.
So we are not taking used clothing at JLB. We will take new baby items of clothing, but no used clothing, no prescription medication, no milk-based products, because of course those things will require permits. Some items will require permits, which we don't have the time to apply
Yes.
for those permits. So
So,
if
so,
we can
so
just stick to this that the government has given, then that's a good guidance.
yeah. So Beverly, what you're saying is that you guys at JLB shipping have to go through everything that is going into those barrels.
Every single thing that we're
Wow.
packing in barrel boxes or on pallets, because I tell you, somebody gave us some dried beans and the volunteers inspection, they were expired from 2020. That does not make
Wow.
any sense. This is food
So you
stuff.
got, so you got to also look at, you got to also read those
We
fine
look at
prints.
expiration dates as well. We have a lot of waste. And this is what happens every hurricane or every crisis that happens in our Caribbean areas that I personally get involved with. We have to go through and rummage what people is donating, because it's just so sad. People don't give consideration. I mean, someone gave us a quantity of flour that expired November 2025. And I said to the person, "We can't accept this because it's expired as I'm looking at it." The person's retort was, "It has 6 months of shelf life." I says, "For you who has it, but not for me to ship it, because if I send it now, it doesn't mean that it's going to get distributed immediately. Hundreds of containers
Yes.
are going into Jamaica. So if it's already expired, don't donate it." So I'm inviting my fellow Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica in the United Kingdom, really, if you're taking things off the shelves of your home to donate, please check the expiration date and ensure that it has a minimum of 6 months shelf life. Don't give somebody something that is already expired. That's just not nice. As I say to most persons, give what you would like to get should the circumstances have been different and you were the person impacted.
So one should not see this occasion as an like offloading stuff that you have sit down and packed up or whatever like that. These days, lots of people, in the UK, people to throw away things, it costs. You know what I mean? So they find this opportunity to just throw away things, if
Yeah, it's
anything.
a declotting. I suspect some
Decluttering.
of them is just a declotting. But don't misunderstand me. If persons wish to donate items to their family members, to include worn clothing, and I'll tell you, I've been in shipping for the last 40 years,
Yeah.
45 years to be exact. Most times, persons who are receiving items from the United Kingdom would say, "Don't send me any clothes because I don't know why you're all sending me winter clothing." If you ever see how many winter clothing I have in bags in my office, Jamaica is a hot place. Why are you sending
So what?
winter?
So what do you do with those extra things which you have to this rubbish discard.
We're hoping that we can find a local charity here that will take them, because you do have some places that will take those and
Yes,
probably try and get them off to Africa or somewhere else. But some of the items are not suitable to send to anywhere. Put it that way.
and of course those people have gone already.
Yes, they just drop them and move. They don't
Yeah,
stay.
yeah, yeah.
Especially when you ask if it's clothing, they don't even do a whistle.
Mm.
They just drop the things off and move on.
So,
But just to say,
mm,
on a serious note,
mm,
persons who are wishing to send clothing to their family members, please speak to your family members if you can contact them and just find out what exactly are their needs. Because I don't think the need right now is so much clothing. Maybe later, maybe in January when things are a little settled. I think what we really, really need now is all the supplies which will bring about some sanity to living standards. For
yeah,
instance, if we could get tarpaulins, because the tarpaulins will cover the roofing, and
yeah.
then if we could get some solar lights to enable them to have lighting inside the homes, because we have enough sunlight. So this is why we're saying
Mm,
solar lights or battery operated lights such as flashlights or lanterns. They will need those things, and they'll definitely need the food, and they'll definitely need, the medical supplies, because some people were injured during the hurricane. And of course, they definitely need hand tools and clearing implements in order to cut down debris and make pathways so that we who are coming in with the donated items can get access, through the roadways and pathways.
can I just clarify something there? You mentioned about if people are sending things to their families. So therefore, if someone drop off a barrel for their family, do you go through that as well to make sure?
No,
Oh,
shipments going directly to an assigned persons, we do
okay.
not interfere. But those shipments they have to pay for. Shipments that are donated to the government or one of the government charitable organizations, such as Food for the Poor or the Red Cross or the Health Foundation, those are actually, we're seeking donation for the freight costs from corporate stakeholders in the United Kingdom who have responded favorably. And then we use those payments that we receive from the
Offset.
corporates to pay to offset the freight rates, because the shipping lines have not given us any reduction on freight. And
Mm,
as a matter of fact, I would say the rates I got last week have been increased this week. So the rates are going up, which is usually the peak that occurs in shipping. So the government-related shipments and donor agency shipments that we're handling, those we are accepting for free. We will send them off, and all our shipments have been going to Food for the Poor. And the reason for that is when we send items to the other agencies, some requires prior notice before you can send. Whereas with Food for the Poor, I just need to have a proper inventory of the
yes.
items being sent, and then they will receive that, clear that, and distribute it for us right across the landscape. There's a frequent question that is asked:
Mm,
are the donor agencies sending the items directly to the parishes that I'd like my items to go? No. Items will be shared right across all the areas that have been impacted.
yes.
If you'd like a consignment to go to your community, then you pay the freight and we will ship that to your
So that,
community, or we can ship it to the port and you go in and clear that consignment. The government of Jamaica has allowed duty-free concession up to the 31st of December. So
yes.
anybody who wished their goods to arrive prior to December 31 would need to ship, whether with JLB shipping or anyone else who's
Mm,
offering shipping services. That shipment, they only have 2 more sailings. So for instance, JLB loads container on a Thursday, it gets on a vessel on a Wednesday, and it takes approximately 19 to 24 days to arrive Kingston. So you really have 2 windows, which is
really.
this
Yeah.
Wednesday and next Wednesday, the following week Wednesday, for that to arrive the 31st.
So that
Persons,
is that is
however,
that is that is sorry. That is to capitalize on the end of December the 31st.
that is correct, the
Yeah.
duty-free concession.
Mm,
But just to add to that, those shipments will still attract some destination charges.
all
So
right.
those shipments will attract the port fees, the port's handling fee, the agency fee, And if the importer wishes to use a customs broker, the
Yes.
customs brokerage fees, the only waiver you have gotten is the waiver of the customs duties and the GCT. Now, Jamaica also needs a lot of generators. So if you'd like to gift a generator to your family, that's wise because it does not attract any customs duties, whether the
Right.
31st or after the 31st.
Okay, that's very interesting what you're saying there now, because when you read the document about waiver, you might just see waiver means everything free. You know what I'm trying to say? So people are going to capitalize on that. But what you're breaking down is that that's only two aspects. There's so many different
Tiers,
levels
yeah,
of fees. So what
yeah.
you're saying again, Beverly, is that those costs which is incurred based on the donations, you have got sort of what should I say, companies that are willing to offset those costs, isn't it?
Yes, and they've responded very, very well, I must
Yes,
admit.
because if that cost wasn't offsetted by the companies,
Then we
would
would
that
not be able to accept any donated items. So
right?
like for instance, the first container I
Mm,
moved last week because JLB shipping was a little more proactive than everyone else because I have done this so many times assisting hurricane relief
yes,
countries. So we notified our shippers that if even we got a category 1 or 2 hurricane, you need to be ready to ship your items to your family members. So we were able to put containers, 2 containers, one to Food for the Poor and one to persons shipping individually the first week of the hurricane
yes,
because people were alerted that it's going to happen. So be prepared and be ready. And
yes,
so those people will benefit immediately from the concession. This week we loaded 1 for ourselves and 2 for Food for the Poor. Um, Again, that's okay. The one we're loading next Thursday, that will be fine. And the one we're loading the Thursday thereafter, that will be fine. That's the last 2 to be guaranteed for the duty-free concession. But I just want to add one more
yes.
tier.
Mm,
If you're a Jamaican, or I shouldn't say a Jamaican, if you're a Jamaican or a visitor to Jamaica, the Jamaica Customs Authority allows you the concession of US $1,000 of duty-free personal items for your personal use. You
yes,
don't have to be a Jamaican. Once you're a passenger on an aircraft or even a vessel, boat going to Jamaica, you get that concession. What you have to understand though is that that $1,000, which is equivalent to about £850, covers the content of your suitcases you're traveling with, as
yes,
well as the content of the items you've shipped. So if you have shipped something, which the value of $1,000 US, and that's
mm,
the shipping moved by ocean or air, but in your suitcase you have items to the tune of about $500, you will then be asked to pay some duty at the seaport or airport because your total value would have been $1,500 US. So
yes,
please bear that in mind. You do get a concession once you're traveling to Jamaica. A number of Jamaicans I know and friends of Jamaica and visitors to Jamaica who are going to assist in the rebuilding and the relief recovery, they are entitled to US $1,000 duty-free concession on arrival at the airport. When they're completing their customs
mm,
C5 form online, there is a column which asks, do you have goods that are unaccompanied? You fill that in as yes, you make the description of the goods, and when you get to the airport, after you've finished your immigration processing, and it's going to the customs personnel who rummages your suitcases to see what you have in there. You just need to say to them you have shipped something. They will give you a document which will allow you to get the duty-free access at the ports, whether airport or seaport. And that is not restricted to December 31. So that's anytime you're traveling, January, February, March, April 2026 and beyond, that you get $1,000 US.
do you think that they'll extend they'll review the waiver when it comes on to December the 31st, as we know that the whole relief effort is going to be continuing?
I'll give you my personal view. My
Mm,
personal view is at first, the government gave the waiver up to November 31, 2025.
yes,
And I thought that was madness. because that would only suffice members of the diaspora and friends of Jamaica who were living in North America and the Caribbean. Because we here in the United Kingdom, Europe, and further afield, Asia, Africa, because we are diasporans around the world, that
Yes.
would not facilitate those persons who wish to ship items to their family members. So
Yes.
I personally advocated that that be extended, and I thank the High Commission here in the UK because they really went out and solicited the government's extension. We're
Mm.
still asking for that to be extended further because shipments from the Far East takes a minimum of 50 something days. So
Wow.
giving us 2 months from the date of shipment, if that ship is delayed, there's no way it's going to get there. Shipments from Africa takes much, much longer. We still have members of the diaspora in those areas. And
Yeah.
I'd also like to make an appeal to the port of Kingston and Montego Bay, because the port's handling fee and the port's wharfage, I know that they can't do much on adjusting the wharfage,
Mm.
but they can adjust the port's handling fee, offer the people some reduction on the handling fee in this crisis, because if you do that, then they can buy a little extra for their family members and take the pressures off the government, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Do you think that one of the reasons why, and I sense that the government maybe is, I sense they may review it based on all circumstances is, or, but it could be that they still have to try to manage the whole thing because WAF is this sort of open spot whereby a lot of people might want to take advantage at the same time.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I know that to be so. I
Mm.
have been in shipping for quite some time. I know that there are those persons who just abuse every privilege that we receive from the government, and it's very unfortunate because the few that really breaks the rules make the majority of us suffer at the
Suffer, yeah.
consequences that follows. But what I would say is, I would say this to the Jamaica Customs Department: you have given a defined list of what is permitted for duty-free entry. And if somebody brings something that is not on that list, they pay the normal duties. Because
Mm.
if we do not control it, then you're going to have problems. Because you'll have persons who will take things all because they want to resell it. And the duty concession has a clear statement of declaration that the items are for personal use and not for resale. But
Yes.
persons will do that. If you were to say bring generators in now, everybody would want a generator, and they're not using a generator, then they probably go and sell the generator. I had a colleague in the shipping community who said, previous hurricanes, he was appalled at how Jamaicans would take their items and sell it to others at these enormous prices when they actually imported them for personal use. So yeah, there are those persons who will do those practices. It's very unfortunate. And then the good always suffers for the bad. But what can I tell you? I
Yeah.
pray
That,
that people close
mm.
the doors because of the bad in this situation. Because this
So,
one is extreme. This one is an enormous shaking of the
yes.
Jamaican landscape. And so we just hope that the government can tolerate some of the bad so the good can
And,
benefit from it
and
all.
and therefore, what you're saying, Beverly, over the years that you've been doing these things, this has been one of the most serious one, or most extravagant one, based on the
Definitely, most definitely, most definitely. It is. It is. Not even Gilbert,
yeah,
because even though Gilbert brought disruptions, and this one is unfortunate because it came right after Barrow. So a lot of
yes,
people were still in the recovery mode for this
of
to hit
barely, yes,
them, double whammy. So all of those considerations is one of the reasons why I would really ask the government of Jamaica through this medium to consider extending the duty for another month to
mm,
January 31. Of course, they'll do their management controls to see that it is needed.
yeah,
And of course, persons who are associated with registered charities in Jamaica. Now,
yes,
the registered charities, similar to the United Kingdom, are monitored. So
yes,
don't use the charities and abuse the charities either, because they're monitored and they could lose their status if the government feels that they're just being used for bring in all kinds of goods. That again is to go out into the marketplace for sale.
mm,
So all
mm,
the donated items, please, 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 they are not for resale. They are to help the recovery process of families and communities.
And I tell you, one of the things that I find out a lot is that and it's good that you got like food for the poor, you got the ODPM, you got these key places, but at the same time you're hearing things like persons say, I don't want to send to government, I want to send directly to my family. Those persons that
Exactly
speak like
so.
that, they have to pay all the way
You
for
have
that
to
bit,
pay the
isn't it?
shipping costs. Yes,
Yeah.
but JLB shipping, we reduced the shipping cost the very first day
Yes.
after the hurricane. So it is just us giving back as the shipping community. I think all of us should reduce our freight rates, reduce
Yes.
whatever profits we made in a crisis like this. This is not about profiteering when people are down. So
Mm,
I would
mm,
encourage all my shipping community just to consider reducing something. Reduce. I mean, you don't get a big margin on a barrel being shipped, but consider the cause and then
yes.
do, I can't say to do what I do, but try and reduce it so that, as old people would say, every mickle make a
Make
muckle.
a muckle.
So
Yes.
if you save 10 pence, they can go buy something for 10 pence and add to that shipment.
Yes.
So every consideration right across the landscape. We can't be calling on government to give duty-free concession for a long period, but the shipping community is not participating as well in reducing
Yes.
their freight costs. So it has to be, Autumn said, two hand clap, not one.
Yeah. Yeah. Every hand's
Everybody,
coming
every
together.
hands have
Everyone
to
coming
come
together.
together right now
Mm.
to allow this to really work, because the people are desperately in need.
Mm. And that leads on to the whole point that as you say, from different angles, you're like in a battle, you have different fronts as though you deal with, because we are dealing with also the airfares. We have launched a lobby for airfares to get the airfares, well, to ask Virgin, to ask BA. We're not talking about boycotting, to say to them, listen, in light of the situation, can you try to keep your fares down a bit low? And we have amassed a lot of signatures of persons who have made a suggestion, has written to say that they will travel down, because of course there is some impact on some of the tourism sector. So therefore they can get full load of plane going down. Now that 500 or 600 pounds that they can pay instead of 1800 and 2000, that can contribute towards some relief and people going down.
Well, as you know, I was in charge of Air Jamaica cargo operations worldwide when
Are you
I
gonna
last.
start back? Are you gonna get back Air Jamaica? You gonna get back Air Jamaica?
The cost of operating flights are
Mm,
not cheap. Let me just put that out there. But yes, just because we have what we call peak season surcharges,
yes,
which happens in the airline industry, and
yeah.
I think that they should just ensure that this winter they don't abuse the traveling passengers.
So
Give
they
us
always
the
abuse. Hold on. They said, well, look, you said a while ago, this summer, this winter,
No,
they don't
no, do
abuse it.
not abuse us in this situation. Not that they always abuse. Do not abuse
Yeah,
us
okay.
in this
I was checking
situation.
out there.
No,
They
no,
abuse
no, no,
us.
no. Don't put words in my mouth.
I was finding it.
Do not extend the arm of the higher flight rates, because let me tell you something. If you
Yes.
really look at travel,
Yeah.
you're traveling to Barbados, you're traveling to Jamaica, you're traveling to somewhere else, since St.
Yes.
Lucia. I've
Yes.
always said to myself, coming from the United Kingdom, why is the Jamaican rates always so much higher
Yes.
compared to the airfare that you would charge one of the other Caribbean islands? But then know that Jamaicans going regardless of what the fare is going to be. So
That's the thing.
they can
Because
have some laxity, I would think,
li-
for a period. But normally from November 15
yeah.
up to about the end of February, airfares for passengers going to Jamaica on all the carriers, whether it's a chartered or not,
Yes.
goes up. Some of the charters you could get the non-peak period, you can get tickets as low as
Mm,
300,
mm,
350 pounds in
mm.
economy. I never dare see that now in the winter months. So if they can do it in the non-peak season, then I'm saying consider to offer those rates just for this one year, because persons would like to go home to at least ensure that their family members are all okay, because many
Yes.
of them you cannot reach on the phones.
I tell her that's a brilliant point, because these last days now, parents are now like in the UK, they are willing to be fined by the school, because fined
Yes,
by the school is nothing comparison to getting a cheaper flight with their
that is
families.
correct.
They-
That is correct. So
And
there are those flights, and
mm,
you're correct. The belly of the aircraft, if they can take cargoes at a lower price point, then the shipping people could actually, persons like ourselves, a
Yes.
rate per kilo is probably too high right now for us to suggest to our shippers that you could air freight your goods to Jamaica and get it there in 2 to 5
Mm,
days,
mm,
whereas it's taking 19 to 24 days on the ocean.
yes.
But when you air freight cargo, it's 5 to 7 times more expensive than when you sea freight cargoes. But again, if the airlines would like to fill the belly of those aircraft, I can tell them simply reduce those rates, and the shipping community will give you a lot of freight and
Wow.
will pay for it. So, but at this present rate, I would not say to someone, ship a barrel or ship a carton box of 100 kilos or 120 kilos on a flight, because it's going to
Mm,
cost you some serious money compared to the 60 pounds you're paying now to put it on ocean.
wow. Wow. I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So those
well, that's
considerations could happen.
yeah. Well, that's good and that's helpful. And of course, those and do you think the Jamaican community in the diaspora is getting that message? And I know you set it out very eloquently at the Jamaica High Commission town hall meeting virtual the other day. You think they're getting that message based on what you're getting?
A number of persons have called and thanked me for the clarification at the town hall
Yes.
meeting. I also had a call from the Jamaica High Commission office themselves, which says persons are saying it's the first time it's making sense.
Yes.
So, of course, I avail myself to answer the questions should anyone call just to see clarification on what exactly are the protocols in shipping items.
Yes.
But I will stress that if you are in a church community and you would like your items to go to your community or villages that you're from, then speak to your churches. I know many of them are putting together container loads to go down for relief supplies, and then
Mhm.
they can actually signpost your consignment to those communities that you've identified. So that's one of the charitable means that you could use to get
Yeah.
items to specific communities if you're not in a position to ship directly yourself.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, Beverly, I want to thank you so much for that. Any key things that you believe you need to be highlighted before I let you get back to your beauty sleep so you can look beautiful?
Yes, there's just one other thing that we
Yeah.
do. I think you do have a poster that we had sent out to the European diasporans because
Yes.
they're having difficulty in getting items to Jamaica because the population of Jamaicans in the rest of Europe is not as vast as what we have in the United Kingdom. So the difficulty they're having is to find shipping services to move those shipments. What we have been doing, and I've been doing it successfully, is encouraging those persons, and I've spoken to two of the ambassadors representing Jamaica. What
Mm,
we have been doing is to be receiving goods that they've purchased either through the supermarkets who are delivering, or they're purchased on Amazon that are delivering into us. They
okay.
must, however, state their name and then care of JLB, so we can now package their items for them on receipt. So once they've sent a shipment,
Yes.
purchase some items through the supermarket chain or through any online services that they wish to use, the delivery address must be their names, care of JLB Shipping and our office in Birmingham. We will
Yes.
pack the barrels or boxes for them, and we will take their information as to who they'd like to send the items to. They will be required to pay the freight cost to send it, but that's the quickest means right now for them to get shipments out of Europe to their families in Jamaica. So
Mm,
whether you wish to use JLB, I think we're the only ones doing it, but I'm sure by the time we're the leaders,
yes. Yes. Yes.
information,
Yes.
so the others will follow. But
Yeah.
it's okay. In this time, there's no first, second, and third tiers. Just
Mm,
purchase your items on the supermarket to the supermarkets. Purchase your items through Amazon. Show your name as the sender. The receiving address is JLB, but it's your name, the sender, care of JLB. We
yes.
will then package your items. We'll videograph the packaging. You'll see the items are packaged. and then you'll instruct us as to who to ship to, and you pay us, and we send those items to you. We have a container which is loading next Thursday, so you can purchase those items this week and get them to us, or the following Thursday, you can get the items to us and we'll send them off for you. And we're shipping throughout. It's just that right now everybody's trying to catch that window of December 31.
Yes.
Not extended. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. And of course, when you realize that things are going a bit slow and it's not going to reach by December the 31st, you're going to put in that pressure, isn't it?
That is correct. That is what happens.
And get somebody.
We do hope some consideration is given.
Yes.
I suspect they're doing it month by month by month.
Yes, I think in a way they'll review it in a sense, in a responsible way, in light of the situation as well.
In light of the situation, that is correct.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it, and what I've done is that's why I keep this section tight. I'm going to actually cut this section and put it out as an information tool as well.
Please
I'm going to use this bit as an information tool. That's why I'm going to keep it tight a bit like this, so it can be as a show it by itself as well. So lots of people can be informed, because as I said, when I heard you speaking, I said, nah, lots of people is thinking just send everything. But Beverly come in and say, no, don't.
I do know that their intention is all good.
Yes,
it's just we have to take things step by step. I just want to give a big shout out to all the collection points, whether you're shipping with JLB or not. I mean, Cleone Foods in Birmingham, Wadelin has just been, what a man of God. The Legacy Center, JN Group, just say a big thank you to you. And we're getting goods from right across the landscape. So Leeds, Leicester, Sheffield, Liverpool, all of you who are sending items into our warehouse system. We are we're bursting in the scene with a 6,000 square foot space. We had to go out and take storage space for shipments. That's how much we're managing in Birmingham at JLB Shipping. But I tell you, the people's heart, it represents humanity and love for country. The donations, it's coming in, and continue to send your donations. We're sending 2 other containers to Food for the Poor, up to the 20. As a matter of fact, we're going up to the 28th of November for the vessel that is sailing on the 3rd of December. And that will get to Jamaica before the 31st. So send what you have for the government and send what you have for your families, and we will take care. Thank you so much for having me.
And just the key things again, the key things that are like pressing that need to be shipped. What are some of the key things that you want?
We need generators. We need generators. We need solar lights. We need medical supplies. We need hand tools. We need nails. We need debris clearing implements. We need solar lights. We need sanitary wear for women, Pampers, incontinent pads for people who are impacted in the infirmaries. Because we haven't spoken a lot about the infirmaries, but the infirmaries most of them have lost roof in the areas that have been impacted, and people have had to be relocated into other spaces. So consider those persons who are, older and need more care. Just consider if this was me, what would I need? And just send those items, but no used clothing, please.
Yes. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for listening to this. And Beverly, thank you so much from JLB Shipping. You can see the telephone number there. You can always cut and paste it and screenshot it. It's right there. And beyond this period, JLB Shipping is always there. All right.
We're here for you guys.
Thank you very much.
We continue to pray for your peace of mind, because that is so important. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we just give you an applause for that. Yeah. Thank you, Beverly. Okay, all the best. Thank you, Jared. Bye-bye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Miss Beverly Johnson from JLB Shipping, and you can see the details there. JLB Shipping, telephone number 0121 525 5881. 07850 025 582. The website is www.jlbshipping.com, and the email is info uk@jlbshipping.com, and you can actually ship with her beyond. But the most important thing is that this discussion is really helpful, and what this discussion will do is a lot of persons will be able to tune in, and lots of people will be able to actually get key information as well. So thank you very much for that, and I'll go on to the next bit. Before I go, let me just do this.